Hello, hello. It is time to do May's reading wrap up. I don't know why I'm struggling. It feels like it's been a while, but it really hasn't because I did one last month. But I don't know if I can technically hold all these. So this was a really good month for me. I might just turn you because it might be easier. So I read 10 books this month, which again, that is a really good month for me. I don't normally get that. Again, I know it's not like a competition, but I'm like behind on my reading goal because I want to try to read 100 books this year. And so I was really behind because of the book slump I had in, was it April? I think it was April or March. One of those months I just had a really slow reading month. And so the fact that I got 10 this month, I'm really happy about. And I like the fact that I got in this mood to read and all that. And to be honest, I finished also a lot of different series, which I'm also happy about. I don't normally keep track of what series I'm reading, but to know that I finished series is kind of also nice. But I'm also not going to be one of those people that like post those videos like, hey, let me try to read some books of series that I am in the middle of, because there's some that I'm never going to get into reading. So, but let us start. So, I have this all mixed up. So, the first book I read for the month of May, and technically I read it last month. I'm horrible at remembering the months, I'm going to be honest. I think it's March. If not, it's April. April or March. The end of that month, I was trying to finish Emily Wilde's encyclopedia, or not Emily Wilde's encyclopedia, Emily Wilde's Map of Other Lands, which is the second book in the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. But I got it from the library. I saw it and I was so happy that they had it that I was like, let me grab it, right? So I read this. Like I said, I thought I was going to finish it last month, but I didn't. But I finished it in the beginning of May. This one was really good. I like the fact that this one kind of went off of kind of where they ended almost with the first book. But I also liked it because it was a lot less more academic for me, because the first one was difficult because there was a lot of academic technical terms like world building, getting used to what's going on. And this one was a little bit less of that and a lot more kind of like action, and something was happening and they were trying to figure stuff out. And then there was some more new characters that were brought in. So I really enjoyed the fact that there was that in this story, because like I said, the first one was really good and all that, but this one was so much better. I think I gave this one a 4.5, maybe a 4.25. I will post it or put it up on the thing to let you know, but I did really enjoy this one. Next one, won't really be talking too much about it because there is a whole other video about this series that I read. 3 books, read them all, whole video, go check it out. Should be the video before this one, but that is Lightlark. I read all 3 of these. I gave my reaction, gave my thoughts. Like I said, it's a pretty good series, pretty interesting. All I knew about was just the first book. I didn't know about the second or third. So, like I said, if you want to see my thoughts for these, go check out my video about it, which I think was talking about reading the Lightlark series. I think it's just reading the Lightlark series. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. In between reading one of those, I finished another series, which was The Wedding Witch, which was book 3 in the X-Hex. And this one follows Rye's brother Bowen and what's her name? Tamsin. She's also in the first book. She's one who tricks Viv and Rise in the first one. But she's in this one. She's helping Bowen collect like artifacts because he's trying to figure out a really like difficult spell that he did back in the day. Technically his college roommate did back in the day, and he's trying to fix it. And instead they go to this wedding that's supposed to happen. Somehow there's time travel, magic, all this fun stuff going on. And I really, really enjoyed this book. It was so funny, so cute, so interesting. I think I also gave this a 4-star, maybe a little less. It was good, but there's some parts where it's like a little tricky and you wish there was more. So there is that. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of these for the star ratings for some reason. I just remember if they were really good, really enjoyable, all that. So, I think this was my next one, right? I'm gonna forget which ones I'm reading. I'm trying to do it in order a little bit, but I kind of also don't remember. But I think the next one I read was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I heard a lot of mixed reviews in regards to this book. Like I said, some people liked it, but in comparison to Ali Hazelwood's other books, they didn't and stuff, which again, I've read a couple of her books. I'm not like a huge fan of her books. I get why people like them. Like I said, there's women in science and stuff. She has like degrees in science and all that. So, I mean, I kind of went in this and I'm like, people like it, people don't like it. Paranormal romance, this was her first one with paranormal romance. And I gotta admit, I kind of like this one. It wasn't bad. I get some of the frustration and annoyance because, like I said, it's about a vampire bride marrying a alpha werewolf to create like an alliance between the two in the world and stuff. But it was actually not that bad to me. Like I said, there's some parts where it's frustrating. There's some miscommunication, some issues where, again, like vampires don't understand werewolves fully and the werewolves don't understand the vampires and stuff. And there's like things that are confusing. But I actually didn't mind this one. So I think this one I also gave 4. If not, this might have been a little under, just because there are certain parts of it where it's just like really annoying and frustrating for some things. So it's either a 4 or it's slightly under. Again, I'm going to post all the star ratings for the books in the video once I go back and edit it. So you'll see when I say what ratings I gave it. So there's that. Now I know I read these ones last, but the question is, which one did I read next? I'm going to go with this one because I think it was. So, again, I read another series, which, again, I read the second book in the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies book. And this was the last one. This is Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales and stuff. So this one, again, is following off the ending of the second book, which I'm trying not to give too much away. So you don't, like, if you haven't read the series at all, like the first or anything, is not giving too much. But this one is basically her kind of using the stories from like the different fairies and like different like mythical beings. They call it dryadology. I might be butchering that word, but that's a word in here where it's basically like mythical creatures like unicorns and fairies and bogs and brownies and all these other creatures, right? And mind you, like I said, the first book is talking about a lot of these creatures. So you're learning about it. The second book is talking about how these kind of creatures are kind of finding their way into the other lands and places and stuff if they're not able to like go a certain way. Or doors, basically. They're talking about doors. Doors where fairy creatures from the fairy lands can come into the human and like real world. And like how it's connected. This one is specifically talking about one specific door to one specific land and kind of talking about the politics and the nature of it and stories and how the humans are basically like looking at them, and there is some truth to it, but again, because it's being told in a way where it's just being spoken, there's some like changes in the way that it's presented and stuff. And so this one is interesting. I think I gave this one a 4-star as well. It wasn't as good as the second. I think the second one was my favorite just because of everything that was kind of going on. It was more action packed and stuff. This one's more kind of politics and like stories and trying to figure out stuff. But it was still pretty good. I did like how it all brought everything together and kind of ended it in a nice, neat way to where you know this is probably the very end of it. Like there's no other like additional thing unless something else pops up. But if they ended on this, Heather Fawcett, if she ended on this, it would be good. Perfect. Fine. Wonderful. So, like I said, I think I gave this one a 4-star. Really good. Liked it, but that's the end of that one. I think this was next. This was The Spell Shop. This one I got because I saw it all over and it was super cute and I love the purple sprayed edges. This one I specifically got at, I think, Target or something. I got it as a gift. I remember that. But I really wanted this book, and it was supposed to be cozy and like nice and just a good fantasy, right? And I'm trying to see what's her name. That's why I was not gonna remember it. Keila. I'm gonna say Keila. Keila. She worked as a librarian, this big fancy library in the city. There's turmoil going on. She has to flee. She takes a whole bunch of books with her that are magical. She flees to an island where she grew up, but she doesn't remember much because her family took her away from it. She goes back, opens a little jam shop and stuff, but she's also trying to help the island who's like suffering from kind of the city's power struggle. Kind of the big city has all the power and they can send it to the island, but they stop sending help to the island, so the island's struggling. So she decides to help the island, and it was really good. I know for a fact that this one was a 5-star. I loved it. I loved all the references in here about being a reader and like being like closed off and not wanting to go deal with people but just stay in and read. I loved Kaz. Kaz was hilarious. I loved him. The story was really good. It built up. It wasn't just like rushed, but it also wasn't so slow paced to me that I was like, oh my gosh. There's moments I wanted to tab like quotes and stuff, and I'm not a person who like tabs or annotates really, but I might have to for this book and stuff, and I didn't do it, but I know there are like quotes in here that I love and would go back and read this book again just to put tabs in it. So this was great. Love this book. Like I said, cozy, warm, nice. I loved reading it at night, curled up in my blankets. So there is that. And then these are the last 2 books I read. Again, they're series. They're currently done. There is a 3rd book coming out, I think, in October or September. But for now, it's done. So again, to me, it's a completed series for now. But it's The Cursed and Coven, or The Coven and the Cursed, books 1 and 2. I always kept seeing these, and the ones I always saw had like the nice sprayed edges with the flowers and stuff on it. And so I read these. It's kind of interesting. I would say it's not going to be everyone's taste. The trigger warnings are pretty accurate in regards to like what it includes. And basically, it's a girl named Willow. Her mom took her away, hid her from the Covenant because she's basically a witch. But her mom dies. The Covenant is opening their school doors back up. They sense her. She's the last of her line of witches. They bring her back. They have, what are they called? Vessels. They have a vessel go and get her. And what a vessel basically is a vampire, I guess. I'm still a little confused on this, which is why I think I gave it like a 3.5 for this one, or 3.75, because there are stuff that's still confusing. Like, they're called vessels, and the guy's name is Alaric Thorne, but he goes by the name Gray, which again, I don't get why, but he's a vessel. There's a thing where basically the person who created witches made a deal with the devil, and so the devil's bargain is that he gets to have vessels hold souls, I guess. And the way that they live is they get to at least feed off of witches once a year, a couple times a year. And that's how they keep strong. And then the witches are, but things are changing. And Willow, she wants to basically take everything down. She goes and she's learning that all this stuff is happening and it's all bad. And she's trying to find this stuff, these bones. She's trying to find the bones and basically, like, break everything up. That's the whole thing. And so this book is her doing that task, and this book is the consequences of when she completes this task. So, like I said, these I gave, I think, like I said, 3.5, 3.75, 3.5, maybe 3, roughly. Like I said, these are pretty good, but like not the best, but they were like quick and easy and stuff. So there was that. And then I did DNF The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I was 100+ pages into that book and I just did not care. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I have feelings of ideas and stuff, and I just did not care about the story. So I stopped reading it. DNF'd it. I was like, I don't care. I don't think I'll ever care about that book. Right now I think I'm in just a fantasy mood, and that's what I've been trying to read, is a lot more fantasy stuff, because I think I'm just in a fantasy / maybe romance mood, and so that's what I've been doing. So again, this was a really good month. Like I said, my kids are now officially out of school, which I think helps me read, because I'm not having to worry about, hey, I gotta take this kid to school, I gotta go pick this one up, oh, we got all these doctor appointments where I gotta get this one out of school and this one still is in school, but then I gotta do this. Like, I still got doctor's appointments for a couple of them, but I don't have to worry about like, oh, well, I need to get this one out of school, make sure I have time to come pick this one up, stuff like that. So it's nice to get back into reading. Like I said, I love the feeling of being like in the mood to read. Ever since that slump where I was kind of like, oh, I don't know what I want to read, I don't really want to read, it's nice to kind of get back into it. And like I said, this was a good month for me, but I know for a fact that there might be months again where I go back to only reading like 5, maybe 6, and that's still a good amount. Like I said, to read any books anytime is good, and like I said, anything that like makes it where you're happy and content is good. And again, we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to read XYZ number of books just because someone else can. Their situation's different, their tastes are different, their financial like situation is different. I get most of my books from the library because again, I can't buy books. Do I get a chance every now and then? Yes. But you know, sometimes I don't get a chance, and the only way I can get books is by going to the library. And sometimes I can't get the books that I want from the library, so I gotta wait. And by then, I'm probably not in the mood for it. So, but again, thank you to everyone who is watching. Again, let me know your thoughts on these books, if you've read them, if you liked them. What are some other books that maybe are similar to these? Because like I said, I read a lot of fantasy. I think these were all fantasy books with romance. Most of them fantasy romance. So let me know, and if you would ever be so kind, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you next month, or technically this upcoming month, when we plan another video, hopefully soon, in regards to some more books. Bye!